It's Rants O'Clock Lays, and welcome to another episode of Rants of a Barça Girl. My name is Esther, like you already know, and thank you for joining me once again. Well, a bit of mixed feelings this morning, a bit of mixed feelings, but hey, it is what it is. I first want to appreciate you guys for your comments, for your follows on TikTok, we still have a very small group of people, but it's growing. That's the most important thing. Thank you. You know, on YouTube as well. Thank you. So yeah, last week we spoke about injuries update, how Gavi is still on injury. Femi went on injury. 3 weeks. Rafinha is on injury. Our startup goalkeeper Joan Garcia is also on injury. Just seems like we have a lot of people on injury. Um, and our win against Getafe and Oviedo. Yeah, we did discuss all that. And this week we will be talking about matches against Real Sociedad, against PSG, what's been happening generally in La Liga, what's still happening with Camp Nou. You remember I said mixed feelings, that's why I have mixed feelings because, like I said, it is what it is, but I'm not overly excited. But I guess this is what this podcast is all about. Good or bad, we rant. If it's good, it's good rant, we are happy. And if it's bad, we also rant, because we are not so happy. But either way, it is what it is. Life continues. We hope for the best. We keep trying. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Anyways, this morning I'm going to start with what happened with our rivals, actually, Real Madrid, because it's interesting to start with that and lead to where I want to go, actually. So Real Madrid lost, they lost to Atletico Madrid. It was a beautiful, beautiful game. I don't know if you guys had opportunity to see it. Those that did will tell you it was a beautiful game. 5-2. Right now, Atletico Madrid is on fire. They are on fire. They've scored like 10 goals in the last two games. One against Real Madrid, and then they played, was this Stuttgart again, and then they got like 5 goals in. So they've been fire. So, anyways, when Madrid lost to Atletico Madrid, and I kid you not, I was really happy because I was hoping for that, because that kind of like we win a game and it puts us top on the table. So I was really invested in that match, and I kind of also knew at some point they were going to lose points. It's just what it is. They can't keep up with the momentum that much. Nobody could. It would take a very much stronger team, and bringing in a new manager to get that happen. Unbeaten. It's not for everybody. Anyway, it does happen. They lost points 5-2. And then we played the next day. And if you know before now, normally Baka would never ride on that momentum. But good thing is we did, we played we saw that and we won 2-1. 2-1. We saw that scored first. And then a goal from Kunde and eventually for Lewandowski, gave us a lead. So um another good news is the fact that Lamine is back, is back in the squad. So Rooney played the first half and then he was substituted with Lamine. Lamine came in, assisted, threw a pass to Lewandowski. Lewandowski scored, and that gave us a lead in that match. It ended 2-1, which was fantastic because it puts us right where we belong, which is top of the table. So right now we are seated top of the table in La Liga, and I kid it feels good because, like I said, that's where we belong. So it feels really, 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 really fantastic. Anyways, I'm hoping we can keep things going that way. That's why I was super excited for that. That was on Sunday, and I was like, "Ooh, that's the right way to go." Meeting PSG with all fire and brimstone, and then we met PSG. Oh my word! So we we played PSG without Marquinhos, without Dembele, without this Adua. We played a much more weaker PSG, to be fair. And although to be also fair, because people keep saying, "Oh, we played PSG team B," and I kept telling them too that Rafinha is like, you guys forget that Rafinha was like the highest goal scorer. You said highest goal scorer last season, so we were also going without Rafinha. For me, and I keep saying this. I know people would say, "Oh, the most important front we have is Lamine." I cannot overstate it, and I think it's now very glaring. Yesterday, after we saw what happened with PSG, I've always said is that Rafinha is like the most important front for us. What he did last season. Oh my God, for us, I don't know why Barcelona fans don't like you. We don't appreciate him more. It's really frustrating. But now I think seeing what happened between PSG, I feel like you guys will know what I'm talking about. Maybe now, maybe it's a good thing that he got injured, because if he didn't get injured and we had won that match, the news wouldn't have been about him at all. You know, you would not see his impact glaring. That match with PSG was glaring, and I'm happy that he was seated on the bench. You know that he's injured, rather, so that we can sit back now and appreciate him more. I mean, those most Barcelona fans that would keep going on and on and on, we can now appreciate what he brings to the team, the impact, what he actually did for us last season. Because I said it often that we wouldn't get to semi-final Champions League last season without Rafinha. He, I, it was just the passion. It was his impact. Like even during some La Liga games, he would go above and beyond to get us that win. He would push. He would do literally everything on the field. He brings it all there on the field. But hey, people keep well, yeah. Oh, he can't score without pass from this. He can't. Hello. Well, now you know. Now you know. Anyways, like I was saying, so we were playing a much more weaker PSG without Dembele, Marquinhos, Dizel, and like I said, we also have Femin injured, we had Rafinha injured, we had a startup goalkeeper, Joan Cassia injured. So we are also playing without, most of these important guys. It is also a much weaker Barcelona team. Yeah, sure. Lamine is back, but then he's just back from injury. I feel like he's not even 100% his best, but people don't want to see that. Anyways, so we went into that game, and I was very hopeful also because when we were playing at home, that's the first home game this season of UCL. So I had high hopes. I felt like, okay, that would also help. About 54,000 crowd, Olympios has 60,000 attendance limit, so we were playing 60,000, 66, something around that number. So we had over 55, close to 55,000 attendance. So that was like, okay, yeah, the right mentality, this is good. Plus we had just won, we became top on in La Liga. So the whole thing was just giving me this energy of, oh, we're gonna get it done. And also remember that this was what we wanted last season. There was this big noise of, oh, it should have been PSG Barça at the final last season, and people were saying, oh, Inter Milan were such a ride over for PSG. If it had been Barca, it would have been a different story. We wanted to see it happen. It was a fixture everybody was eager to see. Sure, now we were playing without most of our important players. They are playing, we are playing, but at least it was still interesting. We were gearing up to it. And then the first half came, and it was beautiful from us anyway, for like 40 minutes. It was beautiful. We were the midfield, we were controlling the midfield. Of course, he decided the lineup was Pedri, De Jong, Omo at the midfield. We at the back, we decided center back. We decided to go with Eric Garcia and Kubasi, and then for a fullback, we decided to go with Gerard Martin and Kunde. At the front, we had Rashford, left, Lamine, of course, right where he been, and then we decided to use Ferran to start Ferran ahead of Lewandowski. Well, for me, that was still okay. That's still good. And I saw he was gelling. The midfield was working. Everything we were passing well, and one of those, creative passing got to Rashford, which was good, and then Ferran scored. With Rashford assist, beautiful, amazing, one goal. Yeah, we were up by a goal, and I was okay. This is good. Let's keep it going. Um, But guys, I have to tell you, it was downhill from here, from there, because there we had one or few opportunities that we could have just like been critical about, that could have just given us further advantage, which we didn't take advantage. Omo couldn't, you know, score a goal that was just like right in front of him. Ferran too missed a sitter. Anyways, few minutes later, PSG equalized. 18-year-old boy equalized. I think apparently that was even his first Champions League game. Mayulu scored at the 38 minutes. That was his first Champions League game. 19. Okay, 1-1. I can still deal with that. All equal again, at Olympic stadium. Fine. The second half. And no, I was very confident because we play our best game in second half. Come on. I was like, okay, let's go, guys. Let's go. And then second half came. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. How do I even start explaining what we did in second half? I don't know what we did. I feel like that was the worst game we've ever played under Hansi Flick. I don't know what happened. I don't know how we lost the plot. And you know what? I know what happened. Maybe I take it back, because so before the end of first half, De Jong got a yellow card. He was penalized. He got a yellow card. And then Nunes Mendes also got a yellow card because he kept fouling Lamine. So both parties got, like a yellow card, which was good. Okay. Second half then came. I was expecting more from our guys, and we completely lost the plot. I have to give it to Luis Enrique because, oh my God, he turned things around. Hansi Flick is amazing, is fantastic, but I figured like Enrique did some some things that it was just made him like a very wonderful manager. Like he just found our advantage because we came in second half and we lost everything. They got the midfield from us. Uh, we were absolutely nowhere to be found second half. It was a shit show from there. Um, the young couldn't keep pressing because they already had the yellow card. They kept fouling Pedri. And then one thing they also did was to completely sideline Pedri. So they built a system in second half such that Pedri couldn't even get the ball. And when Pedri could not get the ball, it's a problem because he's the engine room for us. He distributes. That was it from there. And then the front, Lamine, for some, he couldn't really keep pressing. And the pressing or whatever, one or two shots that he got he was just throwing them away. Or basically, he couldn't even hold on to the ball. Kunde Kunde keeps falling down here and there. Let's not even talk about Gerard Martin. They used his flank. Like, his flank became an access for them. Let's not talk about Gerard Martin. Eric Garcia, I feel like, was really, really quite decent. For me in that game, I would give it to Eric Garcia, Pedri, and Rashford. Those are the only ones in fact, in that front, the only one I saw was Rashford. I am sorry. And another thing that I noticed was Lamine got fouled. Lamine got fouled in the first half, rather, and that resulted in a free kick. I figured Rashford should take that free kick. I know he's new, but we know how powerful his shot is. We know how he has been assisting. He's been giving us assists, and I figured he would be the one to take that shot. But for some reason, Lamine decided to take that shot. I don't know what is going on with that because I feel like we have to have that conversation. It's uncomfortable, but we need to have it. Where he's an amazing player, but we should know who would take free kicks, and penalty, because I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Anyway, he played the free kick and it was all over. Like he just threw it away. Nothing concrete came out of it. Anyways, I know I'm rambling. I know I'm everywhere because I still haven't really relaxed and analyzed things, fully. But I just wanted to throw this out there. I don't. Second half was a disaster, and then the sub that Hansi Flick made again. I don't understand those sub. I still don't get it. I figured like he would remove Ferran because trust me, Ferran was not contributing anything that second half. In fact, first half there was a bit of flashes. At the end of first half, and beginning of it was just rubbish from Ferran. I couldn't see him, so I thought, oh, he would remove Ferran. I was expecting some changes, but then I thought he would, and he would remove Ferran, and I thought, oh, since the young couldn't press anymore, and it was so obvious in the first 15 minutes of second half that they were pressing us. They had the whole midfield. I thought he was going to remove the young and bring in Casedo at that point, but he didn't do that. Anyway, eventually when he subbed, he removed Rashford, he removed Eric Garcia, and then he removed Omo. Okay, and then he brought in Casado, brought in Balde to replace Gerard Martin, which is fine. Brought in Lewandowski, and then I'm thinking, why the hell did you remove Rashford? That was the only guy in front trying to make something, at least doing something. Why the hell did you remove Rashford? Anyway, he removed Rashford, and guys, I tell you, yeah, it was bad before. It just went worse from there. We could not get anything right. They were holding on to controlling the midfield, pressing and kept pressing. And right, I have to say this: if the likes of Dembele, Makio, and Desa had been there, probably would have they probably that the scoreline probably would be like 6-0 or 6-1 or 7-1. I kid you not, it was that bad yesterday. Anyway, so they kept holding on to the board. Then eventually, he removed Pedri, brought in Mark Banal, and then the whole team died. I'm not. No, I'm talking figuratively. Everything just died at that point. Nothing worked anymore. We were not even at that point. We had already given up. Nothing was even working. It was done. But you see, the annoying thing for me was that it was still 1-1, and I expected us to at least get a point out of it. Let's just share this point. But I guess we never learn, because at 90 minutes they got an equalizer. They kept pressing anyway. It's bound to happen. And then 90 minutes they got an equalizer, and they won that game. Okay, that's a long rant and a lot of ramblings and a lot of disorganized thoughts. I know that this particular podcast is not organized in any way. I agree. But like I said, these rants raw, the way it comes, I'm just gonna tell you what's on my mind. But the good news is the fact that this started early in the season. Remember last season when we played the first UCL we played was against Monaco. We got a red card and it ended 2-1. Well, we learned from it and eventually we made it to semi-final where we lost to Inter. But I'm happy this is just the beginning of the season. But I'm furious because we played a B team PSG and they completely dominated us. I think that's the word. Charlie second half, they made an ass of us. So but I'm happy because this is the beginning. We can go back to the drawing points. We know there's a lot of issues that we need to fix. It's early days. So that's fine. We move on from that. It is what it is. We go on. On Sunday, we'll be playing Sevilla away. So we see how that goes, and then after that, I'm talking about after fifth of October, play Sevilla, and then international breaks happen. Another worry because remember the last international game, the young came back with injury. I want to cover my players with the blood of Jesus, especially right now, knowing what is going on. Pedri, I want all of them. I want to cover them with blood of Jesus. So when they come back injury free. We all know Rashford is also going to be called again. So I feel like we are going to be losing like 12 or 13 players to at this international break. They'll be going for international duty. So I just want them to come back safely. And then after international break, we will play Girona on the 18th of October, and then 21st of October Champions League continues again. We will be playing Olympiacos at home. And guess what? Camp Nou is still not ready. There's an information from the management that we are going to be using Olympic Stadium again. And I like I said, at this point, I don't want to keep talking about Camp Nou, but there's just this disconnect when we play at the Olympic Stadium. I know we've been playing there for like almost 2 years now. But come on, guys. I want the Camp Nou advantage. But anyway, like I said, I'm not talking about it. I'm just going to keep quiet. So over to you guys. I've said a lot of things. What do you guys think? I'm very happy that Femin and Rafinha will be back after the international break because they should be back on the squad. Training and all that. I still don't know about Joan Garcia because it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, so we don't know how fast his healing would be. But that's good. At least there's going to be a bit of semblance, and then we have more squad depth at that moment. So over to you guys. What do you guys think about that game? Like, what do you think about everything in general, especially that PSG game? I want you guys to tell me. Be honest as much as you can. See, call names. Let us call names. And you know the funny thing is that yeah, I also don't want us to criticize our players too much because they have been good, you know. And this is just our first loss. It's bound to happen, but we can still lovingly be critical. That's the word. Lovingly be critical. Anyways, guys, that's all the rants I have in me right now. I am exhausted. You know, I'm still not over our loss. So I'm gonna leave you guys now, you know, with all blessings. Wishing you happiness too. That's a new one, I know. Anyways, until next week, remember, good or bad, we rant. And do not forget to follow us on our social media pages. Keep sharing, drop your reviews. We want to hear from you. You know, this until then, let's just keep being the coolest. Bye.